But here's the thing. It's like when I was in a narcissistic relationship, many of them over the years, probably most of my life, I didn't actually realize it because that was my normal. And part of it was like from my childhood because I was normal as a child. And, you know, if that's what the world is like and I'm a child, then that's just what the world is like. My coping strategies back then was empathy, was just trying to like, oh, I have to pay really close attention to this unstable person because I need to be able to protect myself. And I need to people please them because as long as they're happy, they're less likely to abuse me. And, you know, eventually that wears off because the abuse just keeps escalating and escalating. Narcissists, it's just, it's more. Like if you give me more this week than last week, you must love me. If you give me less, you must hate me, or you will be punished. So it's just like you can be giving out, you know, 98% of your energy, and they'll be like, yeah, that's better than the 95% last week. But what are you going to do next week? I want 110%, and then you give them 110%, and then it's just like I want 500% now. And it's just like at some point you reach the limit of your own compassion, and that kind of leads to self-compassion as well. To knowing that when someone else's energy is draining you dry and you're losing your identity. In my own recovery process, the first thing was just like I gave up so much of myself at the end of all the different relationships over the years. It's just sitting there thinking, it's like, then who am I? And that's kind of a magical moment. Like when you get to that part of the recovery process to where you realize you've lost yourself to a relationship, and then you kind of go back and you look, and then you can ask that question, it's like, who am I? And the answer back is, who do you want to be? Who are you meant to be? And then it's like it's starting with a clean slate. So yeah, you do have to process all the trauma and let that go. And then once it's processed, then it's just like, all right, how am I going to present myself to the world now? What are boundaries going to look like? How do I say no to these toxic people again and again and again? And how do I be in an environment with them while you can tell that they're toxic, you can tell that they got this anger, they can tell that they're like, hey, I spent years making you angry and I felt better. And then what are they? And then they're like, now you're not going to make me feel better? Why aren't you getting angry? It's like, because I'm not. And this is your problem, you know, man child, girl child. So, you know, I'm not your mommy. I'm not your caretaker. You know whose caretaker I am? I'm mine, right here. This guy. I take care of him. And at the end of the day, we are responsible for ourselves. And we will be reactionary because we're human. We will be reactionary. But every single time that we're reactionary, there's a key there. There's a little silver lining in the dark cloud that's just going to guide us through. And it's not so much what we went through, it's more about what we overcame. And it's like what we rose up from. Just because narcissists have this way of knocking us down. You know the secret of life, the real secret of life, is when you get knocked down, get back up. Because to succeed in life, all you have to do is get back up one more time, then you've been knocked down. And you might get knocked down again, but all you have to do is keep getting back up. And every time you get back up, even if you look at getting knocked down, where's the strength actually come from? Falling? There's no strength in that. You know what takes strength? Getting off the bloody ground. So you got to do a crunch. You got to push your whole body weight up. And you got to stand up strong. Like that's the emotional whirlwind that we end up going through. But that's also where our strength and our resilience comes from, and our ability to see that this tactic keeps repeating itself. Maybe I'm going to respond differently next time. Maybe I'm not going to respond at all.
Mm-hmm.